and I could be, I'm gonna leave that alone. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyhow, we're going back to last week's segment. Let's move forward. We know we gotta do it. We go to last week because some, gentlemen, ladies and gents, something was said last week and we lost track of time about somebody sleeping with their face against the wall all night long. And I'm just, I've been I was pondering all last week some of the things we had to say, where we were going with that. And we're back to this. Anyway, we're back here today, so I want to make sure we got clarity on this thing about sleeping with your back close to wall.
You ladies respond because I know I'm not the only one that has done that.
I'm talking about all night long you sleep the back against, with your face against the wall.
Yep.
Looking at the wall all night long.
Oh, I went to sleep after a while.
Yeah, I went to sleep after a while. I woke up the same position.
Yep.
Didn't move all night long. Okay, so I guess what we cut off last week was at that very point, and we were going to say something, and I said we're going to do this. So with that thought in mind, and here we go. Just jump right in. Is sex vital still in marriage when you reach a certain age? Why is she laughing? Huh?
Ooh, because I know men and women alike, they each have their own, whatever.
Yeah, but then you guys over your face get wrong. you already know where she's standing. I'm trying to figure this out right here. So is it vital? And I'm not talking about when you first get married, like 6 months, a year, the first 5 years. When you've been married 25, 30, 35 years, is sex still vital in marriage? Vitality.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk about
yes.
how vital is it though?
For men, I guess it's very vital.
Why you got? Well, how about for women? You're a woman. The men speak for themselves. We don't need a voice. Men, we don't need a voice, right?
For some women, yes, and then maybe
For some women,
some not so much.
How about the woman who sleep with her face against the wall? How vital is a woman who sleep with her face against the wall?
When her face against the wall, she ain't worried about that.
Huh?
When her face is to the wall, she not worried about that.
So you saying that? So her face to the wall, that means it ain't vital.
Not at that moment.
Not at that moment. You gotta explain that right there, because I think some men out there need an explanation about what you talking about when you
Well,
say
first,
something
why
like
don't you explain to the audience, because maybe somebody doesn't know what you mean when you say it's vital.
VITAL. Also, vitality is in part of that little explanation there. It is vital to the extent that it is necessary. Because at some point, I'm just talking about, at some point when you, of course, there's nothing, when you first get into marriage, when you're first married. Now let's go ahead and just put it out there. You're in it, you're doing it. You just don't even think about it. It's natural, and you like rabbits. she didn't like that. Y'all see her eyes go up to the sky. She didn't like that. You come home and things may be, you ain't gotta, it's just part of your natural progression and in the first few years of your marriage. It's just something you just do. You don't even think about it.
Yeah, but you're younger. Most people are younger. They can handle everything that they have to do and still enjoy married life and that part of married life. But as you get older, as things happen to you and to your body, then it changes a little bit.
But see what happens, I know you're talking about the changes that affect bodies.
I mean, not only that, I mean, you're working, you have children now, you're a woman, you gotta fix dinner, you gotta take care of the kids and homework. You got a whole lot of things to do before you get to that point. And a lot of times, you may be married, but a lot of those things you still may be handling by yourself. And so by the time you get to that point, you just tired, wore out. You tired.
Tired at what point? What point you tired? What are you talking about? Retired?
You tired because you done worked all day, you done came home and cooked dinner, you done take care of the children and homework,
So
and bath.
what if you're not a working? What if you're not a working woman?
Then you have time to be prepared for when your husband gets home.
Yeah, you excused.
Mhm.
You excused. And you should not understand you excused.
Okay, so you have time. It's a whole lot different with a woman that's home and a woman that's married. But even a woman that's home may still have children, and may still have things to do to keep the upkeep of the home. And so,
So you talking preparation. So then there should be preparation.
yeah, because when you were young, you didn't even worry about preparation. It just, like he said, maybe it was just like rabbits.
It was
whatever.
right.
But as you get older, it's preparation.
Okay. Really? But it's vital. Will you still? Is it vital still?
It is still vital.
See, this is what I think. This is what I think, man. Man, here's the thing, man. I think in the beginning, the first 5 to 7 years of marriage, sex is life-giving. Right?
And then after that,
Now, it's life-giving because, there's that window of opportunity where you're gonna have children, you anticipate having a child, and then you anticipate having a child or children. So during that stage, it's life-giving. The enjoyment is a tad bit different. Not saying that, but I think then when you cross over into a different arena of life as age progresses, I think then sex becomes life-sustaining. It really is. So now that's what you're talking about, making preparation, because it sustains the life of the marriage. So anytime there's nothing going on, then the life of the marriage is dying. Uh-oh, I just said something there. And anytime your face is against the wall, fellas, if your face is against the wall, then it is no longer sustaining. And you got to figure out how to get her face from the wall. Because she said on last week, there are many things that can make you turn your face to the wall. And if she got her face to the wall, then sex is no longer life-sustaining. She's laughing, but it's no longer life-sustaining, so you have to figure out what has to be done to keep it life-sustaining, because you reach the plateau, you reach beyond the plateau of life where it is life-giving, because you're no longer having children, and now it has to be life-sustaining. So I believe that in whatever age, the sex is still vital in any marriage. Now, I heard, you and I were in Tampa, and we heard, what's the bishop's name from there, that's over the missions in Africa? Matthew. We heard Bishop Matthews says that when you withhold anyone, any male and female, into the marriage, if you withhold sex from your mate, that's witchcraft. That thing tickled me. He said, that's witchcraft. I mean, I tried. Well, of course, he went on to explain it. I can't explain it like he did right now, but it was funny to me when I heard that. But anyway, so what would you say about the withholding? How do you justify, if it's vital in marriage, how do you justify the withholding of sex from your married mate?
well, I thought about what my sister-in-law said.
Hold on.
She said, the way you treat me on my feet is how I treat you on the sheets.
Okay, hold on. Let me get the Bible. I gotta find, what chapter and scripture that in the Bible? I'm trying to find that. Is that in Matthew? Or Mark, John? Is that in the gospel?
As I said, my sister-in-law, I heard that from her.
Wait, hold on. Wait,
but that is, it may not be Bible.
The way you what now?
The way you treat me when I'm on my feet
Uh-huh.
is how I treat you when we're on the sheet.
Suppose he ain't got no sheep.
then you still done.
Well, I gotta find that scripture, I'm gonna show me that scripture later on, y'all.
I mean, it's just, I mean, but it may not be Bible, it's not Bible, but it is really truthful because, the way you treat me throughout the day, will certainly make it a whole lot easier, and will make your spouse want to later on.
I'm listening.
It
They
But it is true, it
They
is
listen to
true.
it, okay.
It's hard to be submissive in that area when all day long or in the afternoon when your spouse comes in and it's just a whole lot of crazy stuff going on. Say maybe you've had a hard day and you're still trying to get things done, and you're still trying to take care of the children, and you're still trying to get homework and bath and dinner, and you don't even,
No, hold on.
you come in the house and see me struggling and you don't even
She's
offer
struggling?
to assist me,
She's
because
struggling.
first of all, these children ain't just mine, they're mine and yours. So a lot of times, just coming in and say, honey, can I help you? How about tonight I do the children's homework, I help them with homework. Or how about tonight you take the homework and I'll take dinner. So there's a lot of ways for you to come together before you come together. That
Now,
will make the coming together a whole lot easier.
brothers, my brother, my friend, and my brother. That sound well, I'll tell you, that was well, and that was good. And I understand the concept. And she has invoked her sister-in-law as a witness for the prosecution. And now the prosecution has rested. And the defense is up.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like Fred Sanford. I watch, and sometimes Esther would say something and say, that's Bible, Fred. Fred would look at Esther and say, now, if you don't give me what I want in the bed, then in my wallet, I'm going to keep my bread. And that's Fred. I'm just saying, that's what he was saying. But anyway, I do have Bible, but I'm not going to use that in this segment because we want to just understand what we're saying. Because we both believe sex is vital, and everybody got to understand it. I know we cut the fool a little bit, but one of the things that, and I heard what you said about helping and doing all those things. One of the things that happened to David was when he made a mistake with Bathsheba, was this. And I was wondering, why did he send Uriah home after Uriah was in battle? Because that's what they did when the men came home from battle. They went to their wives for comfort after the battle. You said something about working in the house, taking care of the children. But when a man goes to work, suffers, because let me tell you something, a man suffers from the time he leaves his house, the stares, the looks, the other things a man goes through for being a man in society. He takes that all throughout the day, even on the job. Some are not treated well, going to the store, going to the bank, going places. The mistreatment happens, and he works over. He's headed home looking for comfort. Now, when he gets home looking for comfort, and he's had a bad day, and you've had a bad day, what does that equal?
No, there is no comfort.
See that? And that's what we're trying to say. But we say it's vital. So there should be a concept to find out how can we get past the point of what both of us had, which were bad days, and see can we comfort each other. Uriah refused to go into the bedroom with his wife, which would have been normal under circumstances. But he wouldn't, because he said, how can I do this when my brethren are still in battle? So he refused to do it, knowing that was a norm for them to do. And so we look at this from that standpoint and say, since it's vital, how can we get past the norm? How can we get past that what's happening to keep that aspect of marriage? Because we now know This is not like giving. At this point in our life, we're 40, 50, 60 years old. This becomes life sustaining. You know what I mean? This is what's going to sustain us. Because, hey, come on, we might as well do it. This is nothing naughty. This God ordained that. He gave that. Amen, lights, and not here, me and you. And so this is POL, it's part of life. So how does a person get beyond that? How do you educate them? How will we help them to get to that point where we understand and say, listen, when you come together, because for what I'm hearing you say, according to that there's a point where you can't come together. When the Bible says, do what? Forsake not the company. What is it? Defraud ye not what? One another. And somebody said, well, that's what, that's all the men, that's all the scripture they remember right there. But it says one another. So it's not a male dominated scripture. Now here's another thing. What now? Because they are female dominant people in the marriage. In other words, they are females that are married that have a greater necessity or need than men. What do you tell them? Because it ain't always men that's one side who just want sex.
Well, no, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not.
So how you tell a female that, well, my husband, he just either can't or he just don't want to do like what we used to. How you help her?
Well, first they're gonna have to have a conversation. They're gonna have to sit down and talk about this because you have to be upfront with each other. There's no need for me to run off and talk to a girlfriend and then come back home and the same thing is happening in my house. And you shouldn't be talking about it to a girlfriend. You should be sitting down and talking with your spouse. Your spouse has to know what you need, and you need to know what your spouse needs. Then there's also, you have to think about, there's a danger in sending your mate, your spouse, outside the house.
Hallelujah.
Like that.
Like
There's
what?
a danger of the two of you not coming together. There's a danger.
I know that is right. Now she's right there.
There's always somebody out there smiling and being nice and what have you. So there is a great danger in that. So you have to be really careful about that, but you really do, you have to have a conversation, the two of you, about that. You have to make your needs and desires known to your spouse and not to everybody else. Because if it is something that cannot be done, maybe there's something medical, and there are medical, you can go to the doctor, there is medical things that can help and can assist you.
There's a lot of things that can assist you.
Oh, sure there is, there's a lot of things, but you have to have a conversation.
There you go. There's a lot of things that can really help you in this area. You ain't got to leave there look crazy. Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy? So you said no whole bar. We talk about everything. So here we go. We're in the money. Or in the moment. Listen. So the question is, you said some people have to have help, especially reach a certain point. There could be something medical. It could be something like this going on, and their spouse is frustrated because nothing is being done. Then you said don't send them out frustrated. Ladies, can I talk to the ladies?
You are.
I'm gonna do that. So the first thing you gotta understand is sometimes men go and get things for help. You know what I mean? Them little blue pills. You know what I'm talking about? Little blue pills. I don't need no blue pills. You ever anyway.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, you know little blue pills.
when you talk to them,
Yeah, I'm just talking no little blue pills. But now he takes them. He ain't told you he takes them. He takes them for help. And then the night nothing happens. You don't send that man a piece of loaded gun out that morning loaded right. What are you he gonna do all day long, and he loaded up with Viagra. I'm just asking a question. Cause he didn't have no conversation, right?
Yes, it.
He had no conversation, he was trying to get some help to help himself.
He didn't get no help to help
He
you.
didn't get none, the conversation didn't happen. Now he got the door loaded with Viagra, looking like a, I don't know, looking like anyway. But we understand how vital this is, especially when you reach a certain age, how the concept is and how you must keep up everything that you were doing, and you can have a healthy sex life in your marriage and do it right if you understand, like you said, the needs of your partner. Now here we are, we're gonna end this conversation on this because I gotta move to something else. But this is what I wanted to get to last week. So, answer this question. So, you got your face against the wall. So that means we can't do that?
What would you
Yeah, I
say?
mean, I'm just asking, that means we can't do nothing cause you mad a little bit? I'm just asking, I'm posing the question to every man.
That you gonna pull back another?
What you mean?
If I'm over there already
Yeah.
upset, man, my face to the wall.
Yeah, what they gotta do with me?
You the one, you the reason my face
So I'm
to
just
the
saying
wall.
though, but what that what I mean, we can't do nothing,
No,
you mad?
no.
What they,
You
that,
better do a whole lot of sweet talking.
why you facing the wall?
Yeah, we better be out there doing something.
Wow.
Whatever.
I don't see no harm, I mean, go ahead, I mean, we gonna be mad anyway, but I'm
No,
just.
but so you just going, that's a man thing.
I'm just saying, you gonna be mad anyway,
It ain't
but
gonna matter to him that you're mad.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, don't even ask me that. That is not a.
Woo! I mean, you gonna be mad, you might well.
Nope.
But it's vital. It's part of what
It
we
might
do.
be, but at that moment, it's not to be vital, because the woman ain't even thinking about no vital at that point, at that moment when she on the edge of the bed, upset about something.
And the man is on the edge, upset about something else.
He just gonna be upset that night.
That's a hard road to toe right there.
It might, yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But you're upset about that, but she's over here upset about something that should have happened, or maybe that didn't.
That's when you should come together.
And have a conversation.
What you be saying?
I will be saying whatever it is that upset
But
me.
you could be telling that during
No, I can't.
what? Okay, so you think everybody think like that too?
I don't know, maybe somebody may not, but I'm just telling you about me.
Well, we understand how vital this is. Keep your marriage alive. Now,
Keep each other happy.
keep each other happy, but let me ask you this, so that one about defraud ye not one another. So, how do you handle, but how do you know,
What we doing?
no, you can't do it, what you doing now? Let me finish. We need to clear the atmosphere, get clarity on this one thing. So, if one is not the initiator, how do you handle it when one person is not the true initiator of the need to come together sex? How do you handle that? You have one who's initiated all the time, and then you have one who's not. Is that right? Should both, I mean, from the need standpoint, since it's life sustaining and not life giving, shouldn't at some point both, at some point initiate it?
Yeah, maybe so, but I mean, if one is just not the initiator,
But shouldn't both be initiated?
I mean, I don't know, I can't really say, I mean, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know, maybe some people, some men or some women, they're just not the initiator, I mean.
But everyone should be at some point. Because at some point, it's not about you, but it's about your mate. What does my mate need? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, tell me again. Tell them, look at me like a
If
baby.
he says so, yeah.
I'm asking
Yes.
you. Tell them that.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So what happens when that don't happen?
I guess you're gonna have to work on that, I guess. I mean, if the person is just not initiating it, then again, that part is part of the conversation that you're gonna have.
When? Early in the marriage or late in the marriage?
Well, either early in the marriage, you're saying it's not happening. Later on in the marriage, when it happens, and it continues to happen, then you have to have that conversation, that's part of that conversation.
Because it can even easily be perceived that one person is just, what? Addict.
Right,
Yeah, but they're not addict, it's just, they've always had to have,
Some people have more drive. Others don't.
what kind of drive you need? When you say drive, what do you mean drive?
I'm just saying, but like you say right now, maybe it may not be what you say an addict, but some people just have more that get up and go for what I want, and some people don't.
Okay. So,
Everybody's different.
everybody is different, that's right. So if you or somebody in their marriage is with someone who not an initiator, so they're not gonna tell them what should they show them? Should they have a hard time, saying it?
How are you gonna show them?
You don't wanna get raw, do you?
No.
Yeah, okay, all right. He said, how you show them? How you come home and you open the door and nightgown is here, slippers is here, so I'm just putting, there's many ways to do it.
Well, ask them.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's many ways to show. Yeah, I'm just saying, you never know. Lights are low, something, don't be like something like, baby, you pay the light bill. the clueless to what's going on. And see, that just break the whole mood right there. It's over. I mean, stuff like that. So I'm just saying, you gotta know what's going on, especially if it never happened before. But we agree that at any age, and of course, sex is vital in our marriage to keep sustaining the marriage, God ordained. But when especially we get older, you gotta know it's life sustaining. The marriage is sustaining by us, you coming together to enjoy what God has ordained for you. Like she said, pick time to talk about it, talk about what your needs are, talk about what you're gonna do. Let's finish on the time frame. How long should you go without it? A day, a week?
I don't
What?
know, everybody's
Yeah.
different. You can't say everybody's different.
You can't say.
I can't say
How long?
everybody's
Okay.
different.
How long did you go without eating? A whole week?
No,
A whole day?
no,
2 days? All
no.
right then. So as often as you what?
Mm-mm.
she ain't gonna agree to that, y'all.
You often.
But I'm just saying. But there should be a time. It shouldn't. Come on, let's be real. We comical, but let's be real here. There should be a time that you should plan never to go beyond a certain date. Because you said it. Because you send him out of the house, whatever. If you send your man out of the house for so many days and weeks, like you just said, what's gonna happen?
And eventually somebody else is gonna,
Yeah, you can't send him out like that. And he shouldn't send you out like that. Yeah, and you should, we ain't gonna go, that's another whole conversation all by itself. So we ain't gonna go down that road. But we understand tonight that is vital. Amen?
yeah,
You good?
I'm good,
You help somebody?
hope so.
I hope so too. Why you smiling like that for? Quit looking at me like that. She looking at me like I'm a Happy Meal.
Hey,
Y'all,
nah.
she looking at me like I'm a Happy Meal and she hungry. I see her
Nah.
right, I see her right now. Y'all pray for her. Pray for me one. Lord knows I saw that. All right, let's move on. Got a question for you. Can you? I see you still looking at
Can
me.
you what?
Why you still looking at me? Oh Lord.
Wait.
Can you be with someone and really not be with someone?
Huh?
Can you be with someone and really not be with them?
I'm sure you can. I mean, I'm sure you can.
How is that possible?
I mean, I'm sure lots of people have gotten married for different reasons.
Okay, so if you get married, say, today, and you're going 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, and you marry, you're with them, but you're really not with them. How do you classify that you're really not with them? How you do it?
What do you mean, how do you
I
classify?
mean, how do you do it? So because I'm listening to what you just said. So is it possible to be with somebody, married to them, and really not be with them? You're there physically, I'm talking about, but you're not there mentally, you're not there emotionally, you're not there in other ways.
I mean, I would think, yeah, I would think there's some people that have done that.
How do you get to that point though? What brings you to that point?
I mean, first of all, they may have gotten married for the wrong reasons.
Married for the wrong reasons.
And so with getting married for the wrong reasons, they went into that marriage, for whatever reason, they chose to get married, and that was the focal point for them. And so they never went beyond anything else. They stayed focused on that one reason that they got married, for security or for whatever they decided to get married for. And so that's what they were there for, and it never changed.
So they got married for security?
I mean, that's one thing some women get married for. They get married for security. They get married because they marry somebody, love the person, but they know the person can take care of them. And so they go in it for that reason, and so then they get in that marriage, and that's their focal point. They don't concentrate on the other person. They don't concentrate on that person's hopes and dreams and desires. They simply focus on what that person can do for them.
Okay. And so sometimes on the course of time, I guess you're saying the true feelings come out. The true motives come out.
At some point in time, yes, it may eventually come out, or the man, there's something wrong with the man or the woman that can't ever see that.
So you're with someone. So if is it you with them and don't want to be with them, or you're afraid to leave?
Well, maybe later on, as you get older, you may get to the point that you are afraid. Well, maybe, I don't know if it's afraid to leave, but say you're somebody went in for security, you never worked, or you never have anything of your own, so to speak. Everything has come from this person. So yeah, you don't want to get away from the way you have become accustomed to living. So you stay there. Some people have stayed in marriages for many years until their children got grown, and then they left, or then the marriage really became nothing because you were just two people in a house, and nothing, had no connections to each other, because the connection that you had is now gone and left the house, the children, and so you have no connection there. You really have no life together, because now the children are gone, and you see what has happened. So that has happened, and I'm sure it still happens. And then there may be some women, or help them, that's just in the church, and you feel like, you know, your life, you can't leave. You can't leave because of the church, or you're not happy, and the situation is just bad, but you stay anyway.
Well, isn't that kind of like defrauding the person you're with?
Yeah,
Depriving
because I mean, unless that person is really just mean and hateful to you or what have you, that's a different thing. But if you have a really good spouse and that person is doing all they can for you and you're just there, then that person deserves happiness. That person deserves a better life than what you give them.
Truth.
Yeah, they deserve truth.
They deserve truth. So if I mean, and if you're with someone and you have, I guess the real term is, you can love someone but not be in love with them. Is that the terminology?
I've heard people say it, yeah.
When they're with you and they tell you that I love you, but in their mind they're not in love with you. How do you love somebody but not be in love with them and you're married to them? I mean, I just wonder, how does one define that, you know? And then what does that lead to? Woo, that's something else.
Yeah, it is, I mean.
Anger, frustration.
Yeah.
Eventually, eventually something's gonna have to be said, something has to be done.
I don't know, I'm sure there's some people that have never said anything, they carried it to their graves, I'm sure. It's bad because if you know when somebody's miserable, whether they show it or not, they're miserable.
Well, if you are silent in that aspect, like you said, somebody's probably take that to their grave with them. Why would you even do something like that? If you're now, evidently this is not about being miserable, right? You just, are you past the point of misery, or misery has not set in at this stage, and it's just that, you know, whatever has transpired, and this may be somebody who went into marriage for the wrong reason, or they went in the right reason and things quickly turned.
Yeah, or they went into it thinking they could change the person.
Now you know that ain't gonna, you never change nobody.
Well, yeah, but there are women that go into a relationship thinking that they can actually change the man, and they cannot. And then you get it later in years, and that person still has not changed. And by now you find it hits you, you're not gonna change that person. And then you've given so much time to it and your life to it, then you're saying, well, you know, it's too late, I've already put too much time into this. And so you feel like the time that you put into it, if you walk away now, it's just wasted time, but it's wasted time anyway.
So what you saying, so you saying, my voice is gone for today, but so you saying if you find your wife at a strip club, don't be what?
Don't be surprised at that, she do, okay?
Don't be surprised if it don't work out.
Don't be surprised, I mean, look where you found her.
Well, okay then. So it's possible to be with somebody, and she said, and not really be with, but that's a bad situation. If you know you're with somebody and you want to be, and that's because you really want to be somewhere else, but then you don't brought children into it, you don't brought material things into it, you don't, like you said, you don't put time and effort in, and you're there and you say, now that's a life of misery. Nobody wants to be miserable. You shouldn't be miserable like that. And then, like you said, some of us, and this ain't all of us, because you know some people walk away. Then if you're in church and you know that it's frowned upon, and you can't think of that, because in reality, there's nothing that your spouse hasn't really done anything that was detrimental that you should walk away. But in the back of your mind, you just want better, or you want something else. And something's wrong with that picture. You either want something better or you want something better. That's the only thing I can see that you would be with somebody and not really be with them. You either want something better or you want something else. Or you seen something else. Oh, you seen, now I'm just meaning that you've seen something else. But the problem is that the grass may look green on the other side, but in reality, all you have is artificial turf. That's basically what you have. So, in closing this one out, you got to understand that there are the emotions of the tie that binds, and so we got to make sure that we are on point. We should make sure we understand that these things happen. And I don't care if your wife do turn her face to the wall. We know what's vital in the marriage because certain things are life-giving, but when we reach over 20 years, 25 years of marriage, there's certain things that are life-sustaining. My brothers, don't give up. There's hope yet. There's hope. She's grinning, she's smiling. There's hope yet. Because you got to know what to do and know how to do it. Just because her face against the wall, ain't no mean ain't no hope. Yeah, you got to persevere. Because I've learned that if she's there all night, she's going to be there in the morning. That's funny, right? She doesn't want to laugh. But we thank you for tuning in. We're going to be back next Friday night. We're here again next Friday night at the same time. We're going to have something different for you. We're hoping that this will help someone as we go through. I know sometimes we laugh and we have fun, but that's all about it. You got in this marriage, you got to have, after so many years of marriage, you got to laugh. You're going to cry. And you got to keep laughing. You got to keep things in the marriage that's going to help sustain it as you go along. All right? It's about time. Well, this has been the Mr. and Mrs. Show. I am the Mr.